Ryan moved carefully through the alien forest, his boots sinking slightly into the soft, moss-covered ground. The air smelled of wet leaves and strange flowers that glowed faintly in the low light of the planet's twin moons. He had been on patrol for hours, scanning the forest for any signs of danger or unusual activity. Most of the time, these border forests were quiet, full of harmless wildlife and the distant calls of creatures he had learned to respect but avoid. Tonight, however, something felt different. A faint rustle in the undergrowth caught his attention, and he froze, listening. It was a soft sound at first, almost like someone breathing quickly, but it carried a note of fear. Ryan's instincts told him this wasn't just a small animal. He crouched low, moving toward the noise with careful steps. As he approached, the sound became clearer, a frightened voice, almost a whisper, mixed with gasps of pain. Ryan's heart quickened. Then he saw her. A small figure darted through the trees ahead, silver hair catching the dim light, her movements fast but uneven. Her eyes were wide with terror, reflecting the twin moons above. Behind her, a beast emerged from the shadows, massive and covered in dark, spiny scales. Its eyes glowed red, and its claws dug into the ground as it ran. It was clearly hunting her, and there was no hesitation in its speed or focus. Ryan didn't think twice. He gripped the hilt of his knife and sprinted forward, placing himself between the girl and the beast. "Hey!" he shouted, hoping to distract the creature. The beast snarled, a sound like rocks grinding together, and turned toward him. The forest became a blur of movement. The beast lunged, its claws tearing into the air where Ryan had been a moment ago. He rolled to the side, stabbing his knife into the ground to slow the creature. It roared in frustration, and Ryan took advantage of the moment to grab a thick branch. He swung it with all his strength, striking the beast across the snout. It staggered but did not fall. The alien girl crouched behind a tree, trembling. Her eyes were fixed on Ryan as if she could not believe what she was seeing. He had no weapons beyond a knife and a branch, yet he faced a creature that could easily kill both of them. "Get back!" Ryan shouted to her. "Stay behind me!" The girl nodded, her small hands clutching her chest. Her silver hair fell over her face as she tried to make herself invisible. The beast circled, growling low, waiting for the right moment. Ryan felt his arms ache as he kept swinging, keeping the creature at bay. Every strike required perfect timing, every movement had to be precise. One wrong step, and either he or the girl could die. Finally, with a well-aimed kick, he sent the creature stumbling backward into a tangle of vines. It roared in frustration, and Ryan pressed the advantage. He lunged forward, grabbing a nearby rock and hurling it with all his strength. It hit the beast squarely on the shoulder, and it let out a final furious roar before retreating into the forest shadows. Ryan dropped to his knees, breathing heavily. He wiped sweat from his brow and glanced toward the girl. She was still hiding, but her eyes shone with awe and something else, something he couldn't quite read. You're safe now," he said gently, trying not to startle her. "Come here." She took a hesitant step forward, then another, until she stood a few feet away. Her small frame shivered, and he noticed scratches on her arms and legs where the forest had clawed at her. He knelt down and offered his hand. "I'm Ryan. Are you hurt?" The girl nodded silently. Her eyes never left his face. She spoke in a soft, almost musical voice. I am Liara." Ryan gave a small smile. "All right, Liara. Let's get you somewhere safe." He led her to a small clearing nearby, far enough from the path they had come from to avoid any more unwanted attention. He gathered some large leaves and used them to make a makeshift bedding. Liara watched him intently, her silver eyes wide with curiosity and caution. Ryan noticed that despite her fear, she didn't run or resist. She simply stayed close, letting him take the lead. As he cleaned a scratch on her arm, He realized how delicate she was. Her skin was smooth and pale, with a faint shimmer that seemed to glow under the twin moon's light. He carefully applied a healing gel from his pack, hoping it would ease the sting. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "For saving me." Ryan shook his head. "You don't need to thank me. Anyone in my place would have done the same." Liara tilted her head, studying him. "But you risked your life. Why?" Ryan hesitated. He had faced dangerous creatures before, but he had never been asked why he fought to protect someone. Because it was the right thing to do," he said finally. "You didn't deserve what that thing wanted to do to you. No one does." Her eyes softened slightly. She had never heard words like that from anyone. In her culture, strength was measured by how much one could dominate others, not by how much one protected them. Yet here was a human, risking himself without expecting anything in return. It was strange, but beautiful. Night fell fully, and the forest grew quiet. Ryan kept watch by the small fire he had made, the embers glowing softly. Liara sat on the makeshift bedding, her small hands clutching her knees. She watched him silently, noting every movement, the way he checked the surroundings, the way he adjusted the fire, the way he seemed calm even after facing such danger. She wanted to speak, to tell him how grateful she was, but the words felt too heavy. Instead, she simply whispered to herself, almost like a secret, "I belong to him now." Ryan heard her whisper and turned toward her. "What did you say?" Liara blinked, startled. I said nothing," she murmured, lowering her gaze. But Ryan wasn't convinced. He knelt beside her. "Liara, you don't have to belong to anyone. You're free. Do you understand?" She nodded, but her eyes told a different story. In her culture, words like belong meant loyalty, protection, and respect. It was not about ownership. It was about acknowledging someone who had proven themselves strong and kind. She had made her choice without fully understanding why, but she knew it felt right. Ryan sighed softly, unsure how to respond. He wanted to tell her she was not obligated to him, but something in her gaze made him hesitate. There was trust there, fragile but unshakable. He decided it was enough that she felt safe. "All right," he said finally. "We'll figure things out tomorrow. For now, just rest." Liara curled up on the bedding, still watching him. She felt a warmth she had never felt before, a sense of safety that went beyond physical protection. He was not just strong, he was steady, calm, and kind. And in that moment, she decided she would not leave his side no matter what. Ryan kept watch through the night, listening to the subtle sounds of the forest. He noticed her breathing gradually even out as she drifted into a light sleep. He allowed himself a small smile, feeling a strange sense of satisfaction that he could help someone in need. The following morning, the forest greeted them with pale sunlight filtering through the tall alien trees. Liara stirred, stretching carefully. Her wounds were less painful, thanks to Ryan's careful treatment, but she still moved cautiously. "Good morning," Ryan said softly, offering her some water. "How do you feel?" Liara took the water and nodded. "Better, thanks to you." He smiled. "We should start moving. We need to find your people before anything else happens." Liara hesitated for a moment, then stood beside him. She moved with surprising grace, her silver hair flowing as she matched his pace. Even though she was small and fragile-looking, there was a quiet determination in her steps. Ryan noticed it and felt a mix of admiration and concern. As they walked, Liara kept glancing at him. She wanted to speak, to explain her thoughts, but she wasn't sure how. Finally, she said softly, "You saved me. I belong to you now." Ryan froze mid-step, turning to her. "Liara, I already told you, you don't belong to me. You're free." She nodded, but her expression was calm, almost reverent. I know, but I choose to be with you. Not because I must, but because I want to. Ryan's mind raced. He had faced countless dangerous situations, but nothing like this. A human and an alien, bound not by obligation but by trust and courage. He realized then that she wasn't saying it lightly. She had made her choice. The forest seemed quieter as they continued walking, both of them aware of the new bond forming between them. They were no longer just a rescuer and the rescued. They were partners, facing a world filled with dangers and unknowns, together. By the time the sun reached its peak, Ryan knew they had to find a safe place to rest. He spotted a small cave hidden behind thick vines and led Liara inside. They settled near a shallow stream, allowing her to wash the grime and sweat from the journey. Liara watched him carefully as he worked. You are very strange, she said softly. Ryan chuckled. I get that a lot. She tilted her head. You are brave, you are kind, and you do not ask for anything in return. I have never met anyone like you. Ryan looked at her and smiled faintly. I'm just trying to do what's right. Liara nodded, her eyes shining. Then I will stay with you. I promise. Ryan reached out and gently placed a hand on hers. He didn't know what the future held, but for now he accepted her choice, not as possession, but as trust. And somehow that felt more powerful than any victory he had ever won in battle. As night fell again, Liara curled up close to the fire, her head resting on the leaves he had gathered. Ryan kept watch, knowing the forest was full of unknown dangers, yet feeling a quiet strength in their shared presence. For the first time, he realized that saving someone could change more than just their life. It could change his own as well. And deep inside, Liara whispered once more, just for herself, I belong to him, and I always will. The next morning, the forest seemed quieter than before, but Ryan knew that danger was never far away on this alien world. Liara stirred, stretching carefully as she observed him packing his few supplies. She had slept close to him again, feeling safer than she had since being separated from her people. Despite the lingering fear from the previous day, she felt a strange sense of peace. Are you ready? Ryan asked, slinging his small pack over his shoulder. Liara nodded. Yes, but we must be careful. The beast may return. Ryan glanced toward the deeper forest, nodding. It probably will, but I'll protect you. Always. Her silver eyes softened. She had never known anyone like him before. In her world, people survived by being stronger than others, but Ryan's strength was different. It was calm, steady, and rooted in care, not cruelty. She wanted to show him that she was not weak, that she could fight and survive alongside him. As they walked, Liara moved with surprising speed, her senses alert to every sound. She pointed out hidden roots and dangerous plants, guiding Ryan safely along the path. He noticed how quickly she adapted, her movements quiet but purposeful. For someone so small, she had a presence that was impossible to ignore. Hours passed. The forest grew denser and a sense of tension hung in the air. Then, without warning, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed from behind. Ryan turned sharply. The beast had returned, larger and angrier than before. Its claws tore into the ground as it charged toward them, growling with a fury that rattled the trees. Liara, get behind me! Ryan shouted. But she didn't move. Instead, she stepped forward, her small frame trembling but determined. I am not afraid, she said. I will help you. Ryan's eyes widened. You can't! Stay behind me! She shook her head. No, I choose to stand with you. The beast lunged. Ryan moved first, sidestepping and striking with his knife, but this time he had help. Liara darted to the side, using her speed and agility to distract the creature. She made quick, precise movements, slashing at vines and throwing small rocks with accuracy that startled Ryan. Together they created an opening, and Ryan drove his knife into the beast's leg. It howled in pain, stumbling back. Liara seized the moment. She leaped onto a low branch and used her weight to push down onto the beast, causing it to stumble further. Ryan followed, striking again and forcing it to retreat into the shadows. They both stood, panting and bruised, as the forest fell silent once more. Liara's eyes shone with triumph. "We did it," she whispered. Ryan laughed, shaking his head. "We did it together. You were amazing." She smiled softly, feeling pride and warmth. "I am yours, Ryan. I belong to you if you will have me." Ryan hesitated. He had faced countless dangers in his life, but nothing had prepared him for this. He reached out and took her hand gently. "Liara, you are free. You don't belong to anyone, not even me." She shook her head slightly. "No. I choose to be with you, not because I must, but because I want to. You saved me, and you stand with me. I trust you." Her words struck him deeply. It wasn't about ownership. It was about loyalty, respect, and trust. Ryan finally understood. She wasn't declaring herself as a possession. She was giving him something far more meaningful, her unwavering trust. They continued their journey, moving cautiously through the dense forest. Liara kept close, alert to every sound and movement. They passed strange plants that pulsed with light and avoided creatures that slithered silently through the undergrowth. Every obstacle became a test of their growing partnership. By late afternoon, they reached a wide river, its waters flowing rapidly. Liara hesitated, glancing at the other side. "We need to cross, but it is dangerous." Ryan examined the riverbank. "We can make it. I'll go first, then help you across." As he stepped into the cold water, Liara's small hand gripped his arm tightly. "Be careful." He smiled reassuringly. "I will." The current was strong, but Ryan's strength and careful steps allowed him to reach the far side safely. He extended his hand back to Liara. With his guidance, she navigated the currents, using her agility to keep her balance. When she finally stood beside him on solid ground, both of them laughed in relief. "I am amazed at how capable you are," Ryan said. "You surprised me back there." Liara's silver eyes twinkled. "I learned from the forest. I learned from you. Together we are stronger." The sun began to set, casting an orange glow across the landscape. They found a small plateau overlooking the forest below and decided to rest for the night. Liara leaned against a rock, her head resting near Ryan's shoulder. "You fight not for glory or reward," she said softly, "but because it is right. I have never met anyone like you." Ryan looked at her and shrugged. "I just do what I can. That's all any of us can do." Liara smiled faintly. "That is why I am yours. You are brave not for power but for others. That is rare." He swallowed, realizing how deep her words were. She did not just admire his courage, she understood it, and she chose to honor it. "I don't know what to say," he admitted. "You do not need to say anything," she replied. "Just accept me. That is enough." The next day, they finally saw signs of Liara's people, small lights flickering in the distance and figures moving among the trees. Relief washed over her, but so did a pang of worry. She did not want to leave Ryan's side, not after everything they had shared. As they approached the settlement, her mother and other leaders emerged. They stared at the human beside Liara, questioning his presence. Ryan stepped forward calmly. "I saved her from a wild beast," he explained. "She is safe now." Liara spoke up, standing firmly between him and the others. "He did more than save me. He protected me, and he earned my respect." I choose to stay with him. Her mother's eyes narrowed at first, but she studied Liara carefully and then glanced at Ryan. There was something in the human's calm demeanor and quiet strength that told her he was honorable. Slowly, she nodded. Then we respect your choice, daughter. You have chosen well. Liara smiled, relief and pride mixing in her chest. She had honored her people's customs while remaining true to her feelings. Rian, still a little uneasy, realized that he had gained not just a companion, but a bond recognized and respected by her people. They spent a short time in the village, learning customs and sharing stories. Ryan was treated with respect, though he remained humble. Liara stayed close, occasionally whispering soft words of gratitude and admiration. Together, they proved that humans and aliens could form bonds built on trust, bravery, and understanding. When it was time to leave, Liara's mother stepped forward and placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. Remember your choice, Liara, honor it, and honor the human who walks beside you. Liara nodded, looking at Ryan. I will. Always. Ryan reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. We face whatever comes next together, he said. Yes, she replied, her silver eyes shining with determination. Together. As they left the village and stepped into the unknown wilderness beyond, Ryan realized something profound. The courage to save someone, the willingness to protect without expectation, had created something stronger than any weapon or skill. It had forged trust, loyalty, and a partnership that would face any challenge. Liara glanced at him, a soft smile on her lips. I am yours, Rian. Not because you demand it, but because you earned my trust. That is stronger than anything else. Ryan looked at her and smiled faintly, finally understanding the depth of what she meant. And I will stand by you, Liara. Always. The forest stretched out before them, filled with unknown dangers and strange creatures, yet for the first time, both of them felt confident. They were no longer alone. They were partners, friends, and allies, a human and an alien, bound not by obligation but by choice, courage, and trust. Together, they would face whatever challenges came next. And as the twin moons rose once more over the forest, Liara whispered softly to herself, feeling the warmth of his presence beside her. I belong to him, and I always will. Ryan glanced at her, hearing the whisper but not needing words in return. The bond they had formed was stronger than anything spoken aloud. It was built on courage, trust, and the simple, undeniable truth that humans could achieve greatness not just through strength, but through heart. The night deepened, and the forest hummed with life around them. Ryan kept watch, but there was no fear this time, only resolve. Liara rested near him, secure in the knowledge that she was safe, protected, and valued. Together, they were unstoppable, a perfect balance of human courage and alien devotion, ready to face the unknown. And for the first time in both of their lives, they felt truly at home.